welcome to Face Value. This is me again. My name is Swazi. I'm a professional makeup artist and a beauty educator. And today on this episode, we're doing something a bit more different where I'll be doing my makeup and taking you guys through the products that I'll be using. So basically I'll be doing a look that is more like a day to evening look, depending on where you're going, but like it's a look that I feel it's achievable by someone who is a beginner. So this video is definitely for you, and I hope you are going to enjoy it as much as I am preparing myself to enjoy creating it. Okay, so I like using either micellar water or a toner to remove any excess oils or any excess dirt in my face. So we'll start with the micellar water by Nivea. I really like this micellar water, most especially this one with 5% serum in it. I like the fact that it hydrates my skin. And then I obviously apply this all over my face. Okay, now I'm gonna go and use my current favorite moisturizer. So I love using this Clinique moisturizer. One thing I love about this moisturizer is that it hydrates, yes, but it has SPF 50. So I'm just gonna put on like 2 pumps, yeah, and then I'm just gonna apply it most especially around my T-zone area and then circulate the product around my face. A lot of people like to ask me, like when I have these master classes, could be for smaller groups or for bigger groups, that do I really have to put on a primer when I have put on a moisturizer? My answer is, it depends on the type of skin you have. So for me, I am a combination skin tone or skin complexion. I need it depends also on the look, number one, that I'm doing, but I would need a primer that is a mattifying primer compared to a hydrating primer, simply because of having combination skin, I usually get just oily around the T-zone area. Let's say then you have a dry skin. The question is, do you need a primer? Yes, you do. Most especially if you don't like a matte look. So do use a primer, but use an hydrating primer. You cannot use the one that I'll be using, this one from MAC, which is the mattifying primer. You have to go for options like a grip primer. They are more great for people with dry skin. And yeah, there's different grip primers. I don't know if I have one here. Okay, next up, I won't be using a primer today because I'm going to remove this makeup when I'm done. I'm just doing this for you guys. So I'm going to waste a primer, but this is the primer I was going to be using. So I'll go ahead and use my favorite product, which is the foundation. I love a foundation. So I'm a fan of this product. I'm a fan of this product, guys. Maybelline 8 with this one. If you don't own this foundation and you're a dark skin girl, I don't know what are you waiting for, because on a budget, luck skin, this foundation gives exactly that. So for instance, if I'm going to be doing like a full glam contouring, I like using the shade 356. Right, this for me is my actual shade. This one is perfect if I just want to wear just the foundation. It's perfect if I want to build up on it and just have a soft glam. But for a full glam look, I still need to mix it up with the darker shade, which is 368. This one is 356. Ne? But today, let's go for the 356. I'm going to give it 2 pumps because we're not trying to waste the foundation. And then I'm going to use a beauty blender and then circulate the product across my face to make sure it gives that even blend. I like using a beauty blender But also, if you're someone that likes to use a brush, you may do that. Next up, I'll be using concealer, a lighter concealer around my under eye, my forehead, my nose bridge, and my chin. And I'll be using this Avora full coverage concealer. It's a Nigerian brand based. I buy it from David Beauty. That's David Beauty on Instagram. I think David Beauty Cosmetics, or is it David Cosmetics? I'll try to attach it. So this is where that's where I buy this particular concealer. I love the coverage. I love the shade. It goes really well with my turn. So if you're my turn, the shade is A40, right? And then I'm gonna apply the concealer under my eye. The next part that I'm going to apply onto is definitely the side to give my face that lift. And then my chin. Oh, I was supposed to be slightly above that humpy area. That's where this is supposed to be. And then apply on my forehead and then take it down. When I take it down, my full focus or my mind is telling me to have a very steady hand for that nice straight line with a good precision. Because it's really important to get that, you know, straight nose kind of design compared to having your nose going on the side. It must not swave. It must be straight. Okay. Next thing, I personally like blending my concealer right after applying it. But should you also do the same thing? Make sure that your concealer is a full coverage concealer. The minute your concealer is not a full coverage concealer, then the minute you apply it and then blend it, it might just come off. But for a fuller concealer like mine, it won't go off. In fact, it will dry placed. Okay, I'm immediately going to be blending this under eye. The one is not even moving. In fact, it's not going away. That's what I mean. Whilst I'm trying to fit it in under the whole under eye. But some concealers, for instance, I know a L'Oreal True Match, but that concealer, you just have to wait before you blend it, or else it will just come off if you blend it immediately. Right? And then in this way, I'm allowing now the concealer to dry up placed, meaning the only time I just have to go back and blend is after a few seconds, and I just blend it, it will just blend properly. But if I just leave it like this and allow it to dry, it might be difficult for me to move it out. Okay, while I'm waiting for it to set a bit more, I'm going to contour my nose. I'm going to be using this Chanel bronzer. And this shade is, what is it again? Les Beiges. Is it Les or Les? Les Beiges, yeah. Les Beiges, but I'll also write it out for you guys to see. And I'm just going to use a brush that is the small. And then try to close down the side of my nose for that nice sharp nose structure. There you go. And I also like this shade because it's not too far off from my complexion. It's not giving harsh lines. I also use it for the sides of my face, but not the contouring side, but just for the bronzering to bring some warmth on my face. You can honestly use a foundation for this that is, let's say, a shade darker compared to your complexion. It would still work. And then I like to close down my nose. I'm saying my nose. Close down my forehead because denial. Okay. Next up, I'm going to be contouring the sides of my face. I'll be using this palette from Sylvie Mark. I like the fact that it has 12 shades, so everyone is included in this palette. And I like using, they have like colors from light to brown to darker brown. As you guys can see this, I've been using these two quite a lot because they eat. And I'll be using a brush and picking up this darker shade, this darker shade, and then try to, contour my face with it. But also I don't want to use a lot because the pigmentation of this palette is quite really good. I don't want to do too much. Now I'm going to use Coca to contribute to the Chanel bronzer that I was using, sort of like setting it up. Next up, I'm going to take my beauty blend that I was using, go ahead and blend my under eye. Oh, this is such a must-have kind of concealer shade. It literally sits on your skin. Next up, I'll be using my go-to translucent powder. By Laura Mercier, and the shade is Translucent Honey. I know this pressed powder shade off by my head because I know it so well because I've been using it for as long as I remember. And I loved it for my clients, and it's just amazing. The shade Translucent Honey goes for most of my clients, so I can say that you can purchase the shade, should be fine. I basically place my setting powder where I applied my concealer. But also the alternative ones, if you don't want to buy the Laura Mercier one, you can go for the Huda Beauty. Forgot the shade that I could compare it to this shade. Butter something? Buttercup? Woo, can't remember. But there's a shade closer to this one that Huda Beauty has. It's really good as well. And then I applied on my forehead. Should you then want your under eye to be more highlighted, you can pick up more after the step and then bake. But now I'm sharps. I'm happy with this finish. Next up, I'm going to be using the same palette, but now I'm going to go for Peanut Slam, and I'm going to contribute it slightly in between my bronzer and my white translucent because I don't want to feel too white. So I'm going to sort of like blend in between and give it such a nice transitioning shades between the light to the dark. But I also feel like I want a bit more bronzer. So I'm going to go back to the Coca shade, which is next to my favorite contouring shade. Just to give me such a, a brownish, chocolatey feel. Guys, this palette, I feel like everyone needs to have this one. I always recommend it in all my classes, in all my master classes, and when I do a makeup for short forms, I always recommend this product. I never not use it, either for myself or for my clients. I always use it. One thing I won't do, guys, is keep the products that I use for myself. I'm not going to present to you products that I don't use. That's why I keep showing the same products. For powder blush, we start with the eyes. So I'm going to go with, I think, this palette. Yes, the browns. The browns, Meet the Browns by Annie Beauty. This was also, in fact, it is also such a popular palette. You also get it from David Beauty. If you're a makeup artist, you probably know this one. It's a great palette for anyone who's like dark, from myself and darker, for browns that have a good pigmentation. So now I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to use Coca and bronze, probably mix Coca, bronze, chocolate, and ebony to bring out the shade that I'm looking for. I want a brown smoky eye. No shimmer, but just blush and smoky eye. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, now I'm mixing Coca and chocolate to give me a base. Then we build up from there. Because the minute you go with a darker shade, you'll be unable to reconstruct it. You just have to go with the flow after that, or rather try to just keep it, right? But if you start small or start lighter, then you actually know what amount of products you would need to put on instead of fighting to move. I'm literally just throwing this shade like on my eyeball, like a course system for this. Literally just put on the brown shade across your eyeball, and then I always say dust out a eyeshadow brush that had like excess product, and then go on the transitioning shade area, which is slightly on top of your eyeball. No, on top of your eyeball, yes, but on the brow bone, like just by the brown bone. And then try to blend the outer shade of your brown. Right, in that way it takes the brown and picks it up a bit more. Now I'm going to use bronze and pack it up still around the eyeball. Now I'm trying to get that eye a bit more darker. I think I'm gonna go on marker as well, but also I don't want it to be too dark. Okay, Kanye, let's just leave it by marker, by ebony. Okay, when I said you don't need any technique or structure on how you need to do this step, in fact, I was wrong. I'm actually very much wrong, because what if you come down here? What if you go down there or sideways? Nope. The color of your brown needs to stay within, the darker shade needs to stay within your eyeball, ne? Like here. Anything from the brush down. But anything going up to the brow bone, to your bone, must be slightly lighter. So meaning you focus the pigment of the eyeshadow there by the eyeball. And then to bring it up, you clean up your brush. And then you take the excess spread out from the brush. And then you soften the edge of that darker brown, sort of like creating a transitioning shade. Some people take a lighter brown just to make this brown stand out a bit more with the highlight on top of it. I hope that makes sense. Next up, I'm going to be using my what's this? Gel liner. You got it. You guys, some so cool. A gel liner, and I love this gel liner. But if you are someone that likes what's the popular one? The one from Eaglet is also fine, but this one is an alternative and a cheaper option from the Eaglet one. But yeah, also get this from David Beauty. In fact, everything's from David at this point. Okay, so now I'm going to use this for my for tight lining my eye. So for a tight line, The line must be created literally by the water line. Is this also water line? But like literally here. It must not go up, or you must not see it as much. You must just sort of like see it within your eye. I would say waterline for the lack of a better word right now. But yeah, I'll show you guys. So I'm going to drag my face on the side like this. Right. Oh, I also need this mirror. What must I do now? Hope I'm fine. Hope you guys see me. And sort of like create a line. Oh, can't do the speaking, so oh, it's supposed to be that side. Oh, basically another thing a tight line does, or one thing it does, is just like opens up your eyes without having your eyes looking dramatic. Hope that makes sense. And I always feel like whenever I do my tight line, it contributes so much on how neat my lashes would fit. So without the tight line, I feel like my lashes always show under, because I personally have curled up lashes, so I need some assistance in getting my eyes looking neater, because you are going to see my natural hairs because they're curled up. Even though I try putting down my natural hair, still there will be that little gap. So the tight line, it's sort of like takes away from that gap and make your eye look like you don't have any existing gaps. So tight line it up, and yeah, hope it works for you as well. Next up, I'm going to be using my favorite. Oh, Sana, it's actually I'm not even sure. Is this L'Oreal super black mascara? It's called the Telescope mascara. I love this mascara. If you have long lashes, you would enjoy this mascara quite a lot. For my brows, I'm going to be using this. Also, it's a, I would say, brow gel, ne? And the shade is Ebony. Also get this from David Beauty. Okay, I'm going to use this flat brush. It has to be flat, super flat and angled, in order to draw, to mimic an eyebrow liner. Right? Okay, then now I'm going to apply my gel on my brows. But before, I need a spoolie brush actually to tame up my brows, to make sure that they sit in properly. If you are someone who always uses brow gel, I also do, but today, well, not, because I don't really need it. I also don't have quite a lot of brows. But you can use this NYX brow gel to help your brows stay intact. And yeah, just for your brows to be tamed up and behave so that it looks good. Nothing too crazy. Remember, we're trying to do here a day to evening look without doing too much. And I like brows that also kind of like look lifted, most especially when I have my installation on, because it brightens up my face with that nice lift. Okay, and then I create I create strokes with the edge of the brush or the corner, and then I take a spoolie brush to connect the strokes and my natural hairs. Okay. Now I'm going to use my concealer, the one I used for highlighting my under eye, and use it to highlight my brows. Create such a thin line just under my eyebrow to highlight it. Right. This thin line method or technique works like angas. It's just the best because you don't spend time blending the product onto your skin. It just does what it needs to do, which is highlighting your eyebrows. And then bring down the product after creating that straight line. And then take a fluffy brush to blend that slowly onto your skin. And the blending method is pressing in compared to swerving the product around. So you just blend it in, blend it in, blend it in, blend it in. Blend it in, blend it in. And you have to blend it instantly actually. The more you wait, the harder it becomes to blend it. And now you've already built so much products onto your face. One thing about makeup, city, your brows must look like this or that. No. Makeup is freedom. I think another word for makeup, honestly, is freedom. Do what you'd like to do. You're going to take it off. So you're not obligated to do the same thing all the time. But it's important for you to understand the fundamental things, such as what looks good for your skin, which product is the good one for your skin, which size of the brow is perfect for your skin, not for your skin, for your facial shape, and which eyebrows should you do for a softer look, for a natural look, for a fuller glam, etc. So as much as I like these brows, but I would never do them when I have on my natural makeup. I always just use an eyebrow pencil and fluff it around. And yeah, I have those fluffy brows. But now I just want something slightly dramatic. And then I like using this palette, right, to soften my brows. But we'll start with the lighter shade that is closer to my concealer shade and set my concealer. And then I'm going to use now the browns to make this area make sense by blending it properly. Now I'm going to use Woodies, which is the shade, just to make this area more brown. The inner corners more brown and not too highlighted. So I'm basically softening up my concealer shade. This is what you can do if you feel like your concealer shade is a bit too much. Just to take a different pressed powders and blend it really well. And you should be okay. But obviously you leave room for that highlight to also, shine. But also you can work around it. Okay, now I'm going to do the top area of my brow. Okay. Then I blend it instantly. Okay, now I'm going to take a brown again and clean it up so that that whitish vibe up there does not show. Then I'm going to go on and do my lip and my lashes. Oh, then next thing I need to do my under eye. Yeah? I'm going to still use the same brow gel actually. Should be fine. I'm gonna use one of the browns from the palette, from the pressed powder palette, just to soften my brow gel, so it gives that smoky under eye. Go with the coca. I need now a small fluffy brush, which is more or less for lip, this kind of brush. And warm up my under eye. Next up, I'm going to be using this lip matte lipstick as my lip liner. It's from Nubian Cosmetics as a lip liner. And then I'm going to use the Nubian Cosmetic lip matte lipstick. Okay, the shades. The darker one is Due, and the lighter one, the one I'm about to apply, is Growth. Those are the shades of these matte lipstick. Then I like making the lighter shade more dominant on the lower lip, while here just slightly on the inner part of my top lip. And then the top one, just here. It looks awkward for now, but and allow it to dry up a bit more. Whilst I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to do my lower lash with the mascara. And the nose, I don't have lashes. So I take like a small brush for lips, maybe this one. And then I'm going to use it to blend the two shades. And then I'm just going to throw on a gloss like at the end of the makeup. So now I'm going to blush. I don't know, I'm in between these two. Usually I'm a fan of this. Well, I'm a fan of both, honestly. Like, I'm not tied to one. So I'm gonna use this one today, but like I love this blush so much. Why is it not concentrating? Yeah, it does. Oh yes, I love this blush so much. And the shade is it Rosy Glow? Yeah, the shade is Rosy Glow. And then I recently got this as part of the goodie bag. Well, in part of the goodie bag stuff that we got. And this one is the Queen. What's the shade? I don't know which part of the wording is the name of the shade. It's not clear. Then I'm going to use the pink that's in here. They have two shades. One is more like a burgundy shish, and one is like more like a pinkish. So I would like to use the more pinkish shade. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Love it already. Oh, the pigmentation is so good. I've applied my lashes. Now we're doing lip. I'm going to be using this Essence lip gloss. I don't know what's the shade, but it's like a pinkish undertone kind of shade. And crucial to give that pinkish, nice finish on the inner lip. And then I'm going to put a gloss for around my lip. I like to use the same brand, but the clear gloss. Then from the same palette, I'm going to use a lighter shade of a pressed powder to sort of like warm up my under eye. It's a bit whitish under there. So I love this yellow shade. Okay, next I'm going to be using my highlighting palette to give me some glow. I currently like this Dior palette. It's called the Backstage Glow Maximizer palette, and I love to use this goldish shade, as well as the pink tone or shade. Then we use the pink for my cheeks. I don't know if you guys are able to see it. It's not too crazy with the pigmentation if you want to see it on camera, but like in person it's so beautiful. And then I'm just gonna, you know, bring it out with the gold. Take the Essex product for my chin, and then for my nose I need to use a very small brush to basically point it on my that pointy area, fill it in there. Well, then don't leave it like this. You need a smaller brush to just, you know, control the glow. Now I'm gonna go for my airbrush setting spray. And then I will use the setting spray, which is the Revolution. Oh, it smells so good. So now this look is eating up actually. This look, it is Sulala, my doll. But unfortunately, I am exactly going to do that. Okay, and you're done, guys. That's basically our tutorial for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed creating it. And yeah, if you are in Johannesburg, just know that we do our monthly classes. Our next class coming up is on the 18th of July, and I will link below the ticket link. In these classes, we make sure that we have it as like a hands-on training where you do makeup under my guidance, and we basically go through it together. And you just learn how to do makeup with the guidance of Face Value 5, where the most important thing first is understanding your face first, your skin type, your skin needs. Then thereafter, you can focus on the techniques and what can you manipulate, what can you add, what can you subtract, and. Makeup is fun, so I wouldn't say there are boundaries in makeup. You can always try anything and everything, but you just have to know how it will fit on your face, and by doing so, you just need to understand your face. For now, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to this channel, guys. From the bottom of my heart. I want this platform to grow. Please do comment down below. Let me know what would you like to see next from me. And yeah, see you guys next time, and good night. Literally good night.